Today is a Grief Beyond Death episode. What does that mean? This is where we bring in someone from the community to showcase their talents, their programs, and their services. And they also walk us through the type of grief they have dealt with in their life, as well as grief they've dealt with in their purpose and passion, right? So, it's also an opportunity for our community leaders to give themselves flowers. Yes, we deal with grief, but we also want to heal through that grief. So, Grief Beyond Death is a simple way for our audience to see that everybody deals with grief, but at the same time, we can still heal and celebrate our wins. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey, my beautiful faithers. Thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to come in and introduce you to today's guest. This is my big sis, Neda Renee, and she came to grace us with her presence, expertise, all the things she is doing for the community. She is the founder of Project Diva International. She is the CEO of Successful Connections, LLC. And guess what? She is an author of Come Here Girl, Let Me Talk to You. She is seriously the big sis of the community. She has so much knowledge and wisdom that she shares, and she really has a love for giving back to our younger people. One thing that she said in this episode that really just made me just love her so much more is that she said she no longer says she is her ancestors' wildest dreams, but she said, I am my future kids' wildest dreams. What a change in perspective, my God. And I love this so much because she really just went into detail about her purpose, her passion, and why she does what she does. She is a mother, she's a self-discovery coach, she's an author, she's a philanthropist, and she's also a student pilot. As well, she's bringing in other young people to also be student pilots. It's so amazing. Currently, she is in Minnesota and she's just doing really big things. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure you like and review it, and make sure you check out Project Diva and Successful Connections LLC. Make sure you're going to social media and supporting our big sis. Enjoy the episode, guys. And we are live. Welcome to the Healing She Got Fake show. This is LeLe, your self-love advocate, your favorite community social worker, and of course, the host of this show. And we are back with a Grief Beyond Death episode. So this is episode 58. And I have a very special guest. I love her so much. I'm going to let her introduce herself. So welcome.
Thank you. I am Neda Kellogg. I go by Neda Renee, or just Neda. And I am the executive director of Project Diva International. And I'm also the owner of Successful Connections LLC. Thanks for having me, LeLe.
Yes, of course. Thanks for being here. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I call her Big Sis. So throughout the show, y'all gonna hear me call her Big Sis. We just did a project together and we just clicked and I loved it. And we talked about, coming into each other's business and personal life. And I can't wait for the world to see what we did together. Because that's gonna be a banger. I can't wait.
Definitely is going to be a banger. Oh my God, the result is the results.
I love it. I love it. So we always do an icebreaker. So that's gonna be the first thing we do with Big Sis. So I have what's it called? Oh, here they go. I have the newest deck of cards, which is How to Love Yourself cards by Louise Hayes. We love us some Louise Hayes here.
Okay.
She's one of our favorite authors. So all you're gonna do is tell me how to split up the deck. I'm gonna pick you a card, or if you feel it in your spirit to pick more than one card, you let me know. I'll read it to you. I'll pick one, and then we'll see if it resonates with us, why or why not.
All right, let's cut it in half.
Hey. All right. All right, they are in half. You want me to pick from a specific deck?
Go for it. I trust you.
All right. Your card says, I choose a bright future now. The moment I start to change, the moment I am willing to bring good into my life, the universe responds in kind.
And the question is, does it resonate or not?
Yeah, does it resonate or not?
Okay, read it one more time.
Okay. I choose a bright future now. The moment I start to change, the moment I am willing to bring good into my life, the universe responds in kind.
It resonates. It resonates. Should I say more?
Yeah, you can, explain why it resonates.
I've been on this I'm a self discovery coach. Coined myself that 15 years ago. My business, Project Eve International, is 15 years old this year, and so
Hey.
being on this self discovery journey, I would definitely have to say that it has been a deep search of who I feel I really want to show up as or desire to show up as, and in the research that I've done and listening to so many powerful speakers over the years, and just people that you've actually seen results in, um,
Mhm.
I would have to say that as I choose to change, that definitely the universe responds. You never know how the response is gonna come, whether it's gonna be, from a friend in a reading, on a TV show, it comes, but when I've known when it's come because I've known what I've asked for. So yeah, definitely it resonates in a big way, from
I
that
love that.
perspective.
I love that. Okay. I love that. That got me excited. All right. So my card says, I am good enough. There is no need to struggle to be better. All I need to do is love myself more today than yesterday and treat myself as someone who is deeply loved.
Mm,
I like that. I always use the affirmation I'm good enough. And growing up, like, I didn't have a lot of self esteem. Like, it was really low. I felt like I always got bullied. And then as an adult, it showed up in like not knowing how worthy I am for something. And then just constantly feel like falling to the lies of like, well, you're not good enough. You're this, you're that. Remembering the times I got bullied and just remembering like the lack of love, but like constantly telling myself, like, no, I deserve this. Like, I'm good enough. Like, who told me I wasn't good enough? Like, who told me that? And just remembering that, like, as long as I know who I am and as long as I can love myself and as long as I, you know, really take care of myself. I think like growing up, it was always, put your best foot forward. But for me, it's like love yourself, heal yourself. Like I think it's
mm,
so much deeper than, you know, are you better than yesterday? Like, no, like where is my heart at? Is my heart okay? Is my soul okay? Like, is this really love? And so the last part where it says treat myself as someone who is deeply loved, like because my whole life I've yearned for love because I'm around a lot of avoidance and I'm around a lot of tough people and I was the emotional one and I was like, love me, like why won't you love me? So like now, like telling myself I'm good enough and catering to myself and giving myself that reassurance that I need. So I am good enough.
Good. It's a really good confirmation, it sounds like, since that's something that you already use. Again, that's like the universe answering question, right? Like you just immediately was answered. And I think that everything that you touched on is so real today. And I'll get more into this later in the conversation, but I work with middle school and high school Black girls. And our conversation today was about unconditional self love, right? And
Mm,
like you said, it's deeper than just checking in with yourself on a surface level. It's like really what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? Right.
yeah,
And literally and really articulating what that is instead of putting those titles like stress and
mm,
overwhelmed and right, but really getting to the nitty gritty of what is the stress? What is causing the
yeah.
stress? why are you taking it on? Like, so it's just really cool to hear you speak to it and not just about it, you know?
Ooh, I love yeah. Yes, that's so
Yeah.
good. I've been telling everybody this story, but like recently a couple of like older women have came to me and been like, um, you're really emotionally intelligent. And I'm like, I appreciate that because I've been working very hard. Because I've been in therapy throughout the years, but I think last year was the first year I actually had a therapist who challenged me on emotions and like challenging me and saying like, you only know happy, mad, and sad. And so I need you in our time together to learn what emotions are and to learn what you feel and to acknowledge them. And then we can start to move forward in your healing process. Because right now you're labeling everything as angry when really like you feel burdened or you
Yeah.
feel, there's unresolved grief, or you're upset. You never got the chance to say, like, I'm mad. Like, I'm so mad right now. And so, even in my grief groups, I provide a space where, like, if somebody's like, I'm really mad, so and so died, like, giving them that space because I see so many people who hold on to their emotions because they feel like they got to be strong. They feel like they got to keep going. They feel like they got to be this supernatural person when imagine how we could heal if we just had that moment to say, I'm really mad that I lost this. Whatever it is, a person, a job, a house, a car, whatever it is. I'm so angry that I lost it and allowing ourselves that moment to feel. So I'm like, well, thank you. I've been doing a lot of work on this emotional journey.
Me too, girl. Me too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I think just even though we recently just met, like based off of our conversations and the things that we talked about, like I can definitely see that you put a lot of work into your self journey, not just your business, not just your love, not just your health, but like it's a holistic view and how like you come for each day as if it already is yours because it is, and you having that mindset of like, this is my day. Like, who told you it wasn't?
Yes. It's a thing. It's a thing, and there's so in my community cohort of girls last year, we had a baby who really was challenged with the adults around her. And at one point she wasn't going. She was just not talking and not sharing. But at the end of the year, the one thing that she said that was so profound to my entire team and myself was she said there are a lot of unhealthy adults around me.
Mm.
And she's a middle schooler. And that just touched my soul. Like, God dang. She is so right. She is so right. And for her to be able to say that, acknowledge
Mhm.
it, know that it's not her stuff, was powerful to me.
I
And
swear.
all the years that I've been doing this work, it's been like wanting to just desiring to make sure that girls and women that are around me have the space to say those things, like you just said, like be able to say it. Like
Mhm.
that's so healing. And so yes, I have to walk it in order
Yeah.
to talk it. And I refuse to be one of the unhealthy adults around people. My
Ooh.
girls or my sons, or what I'm saying? I choose to do the work and do the work on
Ooh.
me. I can only control myself. So I choose to do the work on me. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I love that. I'm writing that down. I refuse to be an unhealthy adult in their life. Ooh, that is good. Cause I
Yeah.
feel like it's a lot of adults that need to hear that 3 times. Because
Listen, the
it's
babies are not stupid. They know. They see it. Whether we
yeah,
want to acknowledge it or not, they see it.
yes.
They're closer
And
to
I
help than we ever could be.
and they're so much closer to healthy than we ever had the opportunity to be and that we probably ever will be. And I do feel like a lot of times adults have this like it's almost like a big ego when it comes to kids. Like I'm the adult I know is best. And the whole time the kids are like, but I can see the hurt and pain in you. I can
Yeah.
see that you don't really love me. Like my whole career I've worked with young adults, middle school, high school, and like when I say young adults, like early 20s.
24,
And
yeah, 23.
yeah, and the whole time, like what they remember is how like the adults in their life would preach to them, but they would never walk it and talk it. It was always like, do this, do that. But like the whole time the kid is like, I just want you to love me. I just want
That's
you to be
it.
my mom. I just want you to be my dad. I just want you to be my teacher. Like you're so angry with me because of what's going on out here. Whole time I just want you to give me some attention. Just talk to me. And I talk to kids who they might have everything. Like maybe mom got some money and is getting them everything. And the
Yeah,
whole
they
time
good.
all they want is a hug from their mama. They just want their mom to let them know like I love you. And I'm like, and we be trying to be all extravagant with kids and young people, and whole time they just like, can you just sit down?
And even in that, Lily, it's I just want you to love me. And in that loving, what that looks like is when you say sitting down, it's sitting down to hear my opinion. Like today,
Yeah,
I had a day just like you had a day. Right?
exactly.
People came in and out of my life just like people came in and out of yours at the job. That happened for me at the school. Right. So as our kids are living their life at school, right? They got kids
Mhm.
that have said some stuff to them that they like. "What?" They got some
Yeah,
teachers that have said some stuff to them where they like, I don't know about that one, right? Like, and so when they get home and you ask them, well, how was your day? They don't want to just do the fluff. They want you to literally intentionally sit down and be like, so now what happened with your teachers today? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like, what was y'all talking
Exactly.
about? Did you enjoy what they taught you today? What did they teach you? What'd you catch? You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Like they want real conversation because they're trying to figure out life like we're trying to figure out life, but nobody's slowing down to talk about it.
nobody is slowing down to talk about it. We always on the go. Always. Always. I was at an elementary school today. I do some community work down there, and it was a young first grader came up to me, just held my hand. And I found out later that he has an autism diagnosis. And we sitting there, and I asked him. I said, "Do you want to go play?" He said, "Nope," but he's learning how to be verbal, so he don't talk a lot. But it was another kid playing rough, and like this little baby put his little finger up and said, "You be careful." And my little heart just like just because he don't talk, and like to me he felt safe around me. He was just holding my hand, and he felt safe to like say that he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk like he's just learning how to talk. He's in the first grade, and so like you be careful, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm
He's
so
scared enough to talk to you.
and it's even in that, like, and I was talking to the teacher and talking to the resource help and was like, are they getting him services? Like, what's home life? Because now I'm curious because this is a safety thing of why he chooses to talk or why he doesn't choose to talk. So, what's the story behind this student? And it's just amazing to see that a lot of times it's just the safety. Like you said, I just want you to hear me. Like he saw that I was listening and I was, attentive towards him. So, oh, I could talk around her. And I'm like, and me, I'm just like, who's this little kid that grabbed my hand? Like, so
Yeah.
yes, a lot of safety, and I love that we said that today because I hope that adults who are listening to this can really take, because I do have a lot of like social service workers that listen to this. I have a lot of young adults who listen to this, and I know I have younger moms and their kids are in their preteens who listen to this show. So like taking what we just said and knowing that like, let me check myself to make sure I'm being attentive to the kids in my life. Let me check myself to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as an adult and shutting up as an adult. Cause I don't always have to say something just cause I'm the adult.
Right. Everything gonna need to have a response or be said just like we telling them. You're so right. Oh, you're so right. Yeah. I'm excited to continue what we have to talk about because that's my purpose on earth is these babies. And so, a lot of people say I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. I'm like, no, I'm my future kids' wildest dreams.
Ooh, that's so good. I love that.
We're making
I
history now. Our girls are making history now. So, when the future kids look at us, not Harriet now, but us, they gonna be like they did that.
Okay. Listen, that is so good. That is so good because what a shift in perspective. Like I'm deciding to change this generational curse. I'm deciding to change the societal curse. I'm deciding that today the future's already better, all because of the actions and habits I'm doing today. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's good. Ooh, that's another book. Look. That is so good. Ooh, we are excited. Yes. Okay. So before we get into giving you your flowers and jumping into the conversation, I always try to do a check-in with everybody. And the check-in is simply like, how are you in this moment?
How am I in this moment kind of goes into the question that you asked me prior to us meeting for the show is like, what am I also grieving? Right. So if you don't mind, I can put them both together.
Go
Um,
ahead, please do.
how I'm feeling in this moment and what I've been grieving, I would say for like the last couple of weeks, um, is our generation of women are doing 100 times better than our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, right? When it comes to finances, as well as the opportunity to work on their emotional wellness, right? Like we have so much stuff at our fingertips now that it really is at this point more of a choice than
Yeah.
a space where we have to sit in it until somebody helps us figure it out, right? And
Yes.
to know that I work with, like, I'm one of the leading organizations, definitely in Minnesota, but I feel, it's mine. So
It's
I feel
yours.
one of
Yes.
the best organizations, which is Project Diva International. My team and I, we work with girls, and it's about supporting them in this space of being the future, like not being our future leaders, but being our right now leaders. So girls are really stepping up to the plate when they're saying, I don't just want to do this, but can you help me do it right now? Right.
Right.
And that that costs, but it also is a phenomenal space for women to come and rally their arms around these girls. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm mourning the fact that we're talking it, but we're really, really not doing it. Like,
Yes.
I don't even want to say it's just my organizations that's not being supported hand over fist like we should. Like at no point should we not be taking care of our own first and foremost. If the hair industry, the beauty industry is a $30 billion industry, you can't tell me that we don't have money.
Exactly.
You can't tell me that
Exactly.
we don't have money.
Exactly.
$30 billion industry to make us look better than we already do.
Okay.
When it comes to us asking for donations or your time, there's a challenge with that. I'm warning us. I'm like,
Mm.
how do we get better as a community if the women who are birthing these babies ain't showing up for the babies?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hurtful. It's hurtful. I
Yeah.
was at one middle school today, and these babies are in primarily white school, out in a suburb school, and all black girls, different shades, different hues, different sizes, gorgeous, brilliant, shared like the teachers, right? Like
Mhm.
we talked about rigor, relevance, and relationship are the three key things in any institutional environment that has education, right? The rigor, when we sign up as adults, we want to be challenged. We want to be expanded if we're going to
Mm.
sign up to learn it. Relevance, it has to be relevance to the direction that we're going because we're all working to create this lifestyle, which means that we want to get paid off of our expertise, right? So it has to be relevant information that's going to get us to that next level. And then relationship, we want relationships with those who are instructing us. And if
Mm.
all of these schools, 99.9% of these schools have all white teachers, then the relationship parts are going to be more privy to who they know, which is the white students. So it's going to be
Exactly.
challenging for these Black students to try to, Black girls particularly, because they're white women and Black girls. So there's this dynamic that y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly.
That then puts our girls in a position to be in the state that they are. 182% up in suicide rates for our Black girls alone. That's
Alone.
hideous. That's
Yeah.
hideous. That means that
Yeah.
we are not coming for them. We're not
Exactly.
showing up for them. And so, at what point do we as Black women and women who are working with us, to really focus and say, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What can I do? How can I help?
Yeah.
I'm mourning that because our babies, they're sad.
They're sad.
They're
That
sad.
I man, they're sad, and then they have to see a grieving world on top of that, because
Yes.
not
All
only
for
are
that.
they sad, but we're watching everything happen because we have so much access. And even prior to not having access, we're growing up in this. But like, even if you take the Super Bowl that we just had, people mad that a black woman sang the black national anthem, people mad that like Rihanna, or like Rihanna's interpreter, that was a black woman who was also deaf, and she killed it. People complain about that, and so like me.
Always something. It's levels, and it's always the Black woman is always at the bottom of all the criticism. And that,
Yes.
and as a Black woman, we know it. We've lived through it already. We can pinpoint from A to Z the
Mm.
microaggressions and the rest. But if we know it, then what y'all think? Like they're like, listen, come on, y'all. Like they're going through it. They're
Yeah.
literally going through it. They told me today that they're kind of riding between seeing, like feeling like the world's going to come to an end, and then
Mm.
trying to make sure that they stay sane about who they are and how they feel about themselves.
Right. And that's
That's
a huge thing.
that's
And that's
crazy.
a huge thing. And that's, I mean, like I come from, because I'm a white passing Puerto Rican. So daddy was white, mama was Puerto Rican, but I was raised by black women. So when white people come to me and they be like, why you love black women? Man, a black woman saved my life. Like, y'all not gonna sit up here and tell me that I'm wrong for advocating for black women when black women have always saved my life. Like, my mother, when she moved from New York to St. Louis, this Puerto Rican woman with this white husband, and guess who took her in? Black women. Black
Because
women.
we love, like that, our nature is to love. Our nature
Yes.
is different than white women. Our nature
Yes.
is to love. And so we take in everybody. And
Yes.
again, this is stuff that it's not a question. It's a fact. We know
No.
it. It's not, we know this. And so with us knowing it, at what point do we again slow down to stop and just really like show up for our baby? So
Yeah.
that's
My
where
my theory. I'm sorry. I was gonna cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
no, you
kind
good,
of.
you good.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
You
Um,
good.
my theory right now, and this is coming like as a white passing woman, is it is now time for white women to step up. It is now time for white women to step up, be on the ground, stop kissing the ass of these white men who don't care about you either. Start fighting for these policies. Stop being so sensitive when it comes to white allyship, and like stop making it about you. It has nothing to do with you. But if you want to be a real white ally, it's now time. Call these senators, email your local government. Like, you need to be fighting. Like, it's our job to give black women a break right now. That's my theory. And let me tell you, people be fighting me on that, but that's my theory right now. Like, we're constantly seeing police brutality. We're constantly seeing our kids get killed and get shot. We're constantly seeing mass shootings, and who is being affected? First, our black children and our black women, and then second will be our brown children and our brown women. It's now time for us to step up. You want to be an ally? You need to get dirty. You can't just pray about it anymore. Like, praying is no longer an option. People get so mad. Praying is no longer an option. And I don't care that you have kids, because guess what? Those black women have kids too. And guess what? They've been doing it by themselves from day one. I don't care that you have kids. Get up and pray. No, I'm sorry. Get up and actually do it. Stop the praying. Because listen, your prayers ain't helped this far. They not gonna help. You need to do some work. You need to do some work. And I do, I work with I work with a lot of younger people, and it is that fight. Like, I work with a couple younger people in my organization, a couple younger women who just graduated college. So I'm helping them figure out their career paths. I'm helping them figure out like just their self worth. Like, I had a young lady who she was like, she never knew that she was pretty. And if you look at her on the outside, I'm like, she's gorgeous, but she always felt like she was a nerd because she's in tech and engineering. So she always felt like she was a nerd. Then she would tell me that she had acne and like she just didn't have anybody around her to tell her that she was a smart, beautiful young lady. And so imagining going her 19 years of life, and she's just now finding a resource in the community that says, "But you are beautiful, and I'm gonna help you get a job." I'm calling Bowen, I'm calling Centene, I'm all these places that I know got to take. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna get the information. I'm gonna do it for you. Because her whole life is just kind of being like, well, I got bullied because I was kind of smart in school, and I think she went to she lived in a predominantly white city, a racist city at that, and then she went to a predominantly white school, and so like her self-esteem towards herself was shattered throughout her whole life.
Mm. I got a
And
couple. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, you said you got a couple.
Yeah, a couple of things. One is the thing I heard the with what you said last was, she lives in a racist city. Part of what our challenge is, going back to what you were saying about white women and stepping up to the game, is the word race, right? Number one, we know it was made up. And
Yes.
what we're teaching our girls, our Black girls, is that when they're in any environment, let's call it what it is, right? White women, a lot of like, it's discrimination, it's harassment, it's discrimination, harassment, and a lot of times for the girls, it's them feeling like they're in the way of harm, right? They're in harm's way, or they're being put in situations where they could be in harm's way because of nobody listening and them having to be cornered in a corner and coming out fighting, right? And so for me, it's first of all white women acknowledging that their actions are causing these things. One of the things that white women do, from my perspective, is there's this advantage of them double dipping, meaning that you sleep with your man who is in quote unquote control, right? But when you're not satisfied with what he's providing you, you're able to hop onto the minority side and hop up under women, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you're taking money away from, and not even taking money because there's, it's enough out there, but you're putting yourself in a category to receive funding or whatever the thing is, from the woman's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about that. And so,
Yeah.
because if you're talking about women, then you wouldn't have to identify Black,
Well,
Latino, the rest of
yeah,
them, and then women, because there's women in those categories. So when they're
exactly.
talking about women, they're not talking about women in those categories. They're talking about white women. And so,
Yes.
like, just starting off with that,
Mm-hmm.
is a thing. And so, the other piece is when you talk about baby girl and not feeling beautiful, one of the things that came up with the middle school and the high school girls that I work with this morning was how you can come across a woman or a girl that the world would deem quote unquote ugly, but she has the most beautiful soul in the world, which makes her
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you could also come across a chick who's just beautiful and have the most messed up attitude
Yes.
and just ugly on the inside, and you don't want nothing to do with her, right? So our question was, who defines your standard of beauty?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Who for our baby girls who have the time before they walk into adulthood to become emotionally well in that space, because we're constantly asking them, who are they letting define? Are they defining it, or are they allowing themselves to define it? Right? And 19 years, that's a long time to
Oh,
not be able to define it or know that you can define it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then even as women, $30 billion on beauty. It's saying something about who we are allowing for who we are allowing to
Yeah.
determine who defines our standard of beauty.
Yes. Oh man, that one is so like so real because I had to learn that with myself, like just being in that predicament, like where I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't think I didn't think that I didn't know I didn't know I was like the friend when we would go out, nobody would talk to me. So I was like everybody else would leave with a number, and I'm like, okay. So like for years, like just not knowing that I was beautiful, and then like starting to do stuff, like because when I started my healing journey, it just started to make myself pretty, being okay with like I'm not a woman who likes to wear heels, but heels don't make me beautiful. Like I make me beautiful, learning that like I don't like wearing dresses because my thighs shave, so that's okay. There's other options of clothing that I can wear that my thighs don't shave, and I can feel beautiful, and like realizing that like being beautiful and comfortable can coexist with each other. Learning how to do
Oh,
my hair. I was 27 when I finally like reached out to a hairstylist and was like, listen, I got beautiful curls. I have no idea how to take care of them. My mother also had beautiful curls. Like, and my mom was so beautiful. She was olive complexion with these, I mean, the tightest curls. She was beautiful, but she didn't
mhm.
know how to do hair. And she had two daughters. And so, guess what? We walked around in ponytails. Like, we walked around in ponytails. And so, like, at 27, I'm 31 now. At 27, making the investment to like, I'm gonna go to a hairstylist. I'm gonna learn how to do my hair. I'm gonna play with it, and accepting the fact that because I used to have real long hair, it was down to my butt. Like I thought that was a beauty standard, but like learning
Mhm.
that I can style it different ways. I can do things to make my curls pop. A ponytail is not ugly. A bun is not ugly. Like we can do different things, and so like people, I would get my hair dyed and people be like, "Oh, if you styled it, you'd be more prettier." And I'm like, "Dang! Like I already just spent $300 to get it dyed. You want me to pay an extra? Like we on a budget. We are in grad school. Like and like realizing like having that open conversation with people like you could just tell me the color looks nice, like you don't have to tell me that you think I look ugly or whatever the case may be, because you don't know that I never grew up knowing how to do my hair, and you don't know the suffering I've been through because I didn't feel that my curls were curly enough. I didn't feel that I looked Puerto Rican. Like like I can't go to Puerto Rico and tell them I'm Puerto Rican. They're gonna be like, "Mama, you white." Like, like so feeling that way, like I'm not, I don't necessarily fit in with the white people. And my daddy didn't either, but like the Puerto Ricans don't accept us either. So like, what am I? What is it? So there was an identity crisis in that too.
Right.
Like, what is this? Like, what am I? Am I ugly? Am I beautiful? Does it matter? Like, I'm gonna just start defining it myself. And so, like, having to learn to do this stuff, having to teach myself about perfumes, lotions, body butters, hair.
Uh,
So, like you talk about the beauty.
girl.
Man, when I learned that there was like a 15-step process that women do on their face, I'm like, so y'all don't just use hot, warm soap and y'all don't just do that. I gotta get a serum, I gotta get an eye cream, I gotta get a nighttime, a daytime. Like, who knew all of this?
30 billion, 30 billion to the industry, girl. You all you need is soap and water, right? Like it's like you said, according to who, what works for you, right? And that's it's an American, well, I'm sure it's a worldwide thing, but here in America, the propaganda around our beauty it's heavy. It's put in front of us heavy, like nonstop, allowing for others, you need this product, you need that product, you need this to look beautiful, you need that to look beautiful. And like I was asking the girls today, like in 15 minutes, how many reels have y'all watched? That's telling y'all all these different ways that you need to look beautiful. In 15 minutes, they were like hundreds. Yeah. Now imagine if y'all scrolling for 2 hours, how many times somebody done told you that you're not cute because you need all of these different things, right?
Right.
And so it's definitely it's a female thing. It's a word. It's America just it rips us apart. And I know for Black girls, because I'm a Black girl, like it's they are the ones that are most sexualized, and you know what I'm saying. It's like the most everything for
Wow.
for our babies, and I'm over it. I'm tired, and I'm sad to always. I've been sad the last couple of weeks. I'm coming out of it. And like you said, one thing that you mentioned was that, like, at 27 was when you began to turn that tide, right? I'm 50 and I'm still working on it, right? It's going to be until our last breath because the world is going to continue to come at us every day, as many times a day as we allow for it. And so that goes back to my question, like, when do we begin to decide that we're going to choose to begin to be healthy, to begin working on what does life look like for me, and what is my standard of beauty? How am I showing up? And then be able to reach for a girl to be like, hey, let me holler at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you feeling? What you think about this? What you think about that? How are you internalizing that? Right? Like, we got to slow down. Otherwise, again, at our time in history, what are we looking to leave for these babies? Right?
Yeah.
Because we're handing off the baton. And we talk about how the crack industry hurt our generation before us and they really weren't able to hand stuff off to us. Is that the reason? Like, is that a reason to not hand it off? Get it? Because we all doing well in spite of. So
Yeah. I love that. And you said something earlier about like when you ask somebody to donate or not even monetary, but donate their time, and people have an issue with that. I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest with my organization. I just opened a community building in October, and like that's the hardest part. You know, we're dealing with younger people, and like my oldest client currently, I think she's 60 or 61, you know, and like this is a woman who in her 60s decided like I'm gonna heal, like I'm tired of going through what I'm going through, and like telling people like I'm to the point in sponsorship, like I don't even want your money. Can you donate some coffee to my coffee bar? Can you donate a box of chips? Can you donate a bowl of fruit for my clients? You know, like, and you were right, like it seems like it's like asking for a lung, like, but you
it's
can
it.
go.
What and you can go, right. Come on, 30 billion in beauty industry, right?
You can go to the Beyonce concert.
Come on. The real of it is that we do want their money because their money allows for us as nonprofit owners. We have to fundraise for our
Yes,
salaries. So in
absolutely.
fundraising for our salaries, that means that if we're talking about community, right? That means that you're helping the community
Right.
by donating to make sure that we can do the work that y'all are going to work and aren't able to do, or are living your passion and your passion doesn't come that way. So one of the things that as nonprofit executive directors, we and owners of those types of businesses, we have to not be nervous to talk about the funding.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
it's not that we do want your money.
Right.
Let me just, I'm speaking for me and LeLe. We want your money, right? Because
Yeah.
for us, we have girls who are in flight school that we are
Yeah.
paying, right? They have a skin in the game. We got skin in the game. We have
Yeah.
girls who are in business. These are middle school and high school girls. We have girls who are in business. We're providing them seed money for their businesses year after year until they get to a certain level of income or profit, right?
Yeah.
We have girls who are looking to be politicians, right? That means that there's things that they want to involve themselves in that have fees. And so when we're talking, like, we're not saying, again, this is not a babysitting joint where, well, we're just hanging out with your kids. We're saying that we're here standing in the gap, having these real conversations that we know need to be had. People need to be healed with what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
The girls need to be heard with what I'm doing. That takes money.
It takes money, and man. So my stuff, because I actually went from a nonprofit to a regular LLC, and that was just because I just didn't have the board that would.
Listen,
I was doing everything by myself anyway, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this easier on myself. I'm gonna go ahead and just
listen,
salute the
you gotta know your
nonprofit,
model.
right?
Exactly.
And so now I put prices on everything, because before we was doing a nonprofit, the board we was trying to raise money,
Absolutely.
people wasn't coming up with it. Okay, cool. So I have an LLC now. Now I can charge different prices. I still make it affordable, but then people will be like, "Oh, well, you don't take insurance." First of all, I'm not clinical, so I would never be able to take insurance. If you knew anything about the service industry, I'm a community social worker, which means I specialize in community organizations. I also, part of my master's is nonprofit management, but we don't have to go there. but but also too, like, I have like a certification in fundraising. I have all of this. So when I talk to you about money, it's not because I'm begging you about money. It's because I am building a community. When
Come
I was
on.
buying this building and the city was fighting me on it, I have two schools that I sit right in the middle of. I have a grocery store, I have a couple restaurants. And when they were fighting me on putting a community organization in the middle of this, because my building is in a residential space, I told them, you're going to be the reason that one of these places gets shot up because you're not allowing resources that are affordable and care about the people in your community. Your school is going to get shot up. Your restaurant, we got Applebee's right here. It's right next to the high school. It's going to get shot up. There's a grocery store. At that time, the Buffalo grocery store shooting had just happened. That's gonna be the next grocery store. They was like, that's so insensitive for you to say. I said, no, I'm speaking the truth because everybody likes to hide from the truth. You have high school and middle school and even a couple elementary schools within a 4 mile radius. How often nowadays are we seeing people going to public places and shooting it up? Then just right before Thanksgiving, St. Louis had their first school shooting. And guess what? 3 people died. It wasn't in my neighborhood, but guess what? It happened. And you're fighting me on bringing a community organization that's helping people address their grief because St. Louis is a city that has grieved a lot. Just like we see these other cities, like the cities in Minnesota, we see in New York, we keep seeing it happen.
Yeah.
We're no
It's happening.
different. We need resources like this. There's not a lot of grief organizations. So how dare you tell me that we don't need a grief organization? There's not many at all outside of like churches and stuff. And guess what? It ain't too many people going to church for a grief group. Let me just say, be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you creating a center. Huh, like y'all can't see it. I got the background in it, but I'm sitting in my center, a center dedicated for. I have a memorial wall in my building that you can come and put your loved ones on the wall and sit with them. Because maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're not ready for a grief group, but you have a safe place where you can come and sit with your loved one and cry. You have a safe
Mm-hmm.
place where someone would be like, I feel your pain. But how
Yeah.
dare you sit here and say we don't need it? You don't understand mental health. You don't understand grief. You don't understand the services that you're talking about that we need. Because it's not, because maybe you need it. I told them too. I said, all y'all in here is grieving.
They,
Like,
they need it.
all
Listen,
y'all in here is grieving. Stop playing with me. Like, I'm that social worker. I'm going to get in your face. Stop playing with me. I'm
man.
not tell the truth. And guess what? I got about 4 to 5 grief groups that I host virtually and in person a week. Stop playing with me. I do that.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
like, and so anybody out there that's listening, like, find you that group and volunteer, donate. A lot of us need the money, not because we about to go spend it on us, but our babies need it. Our young people need it.
Our young people need it. Yeah.
Like you said, you're literally putting people through programs. Like
Mhm.
our kids need it, our communities need it. Like, and I get it. I don't know about where you live at. I live in Missouri, where like they feel like any type of social service is the devil. Like Missouri does not like social service anything. They feel like if you got 2 legs and 2 hands, you can get up and go work for it. But they feel like you should just be able to get it, but that's not necessarily true, and we see it every single day. We see it every
Absolutely.
single day. So
Absolutely. I definitely, we preaching to each other. Hopefully people are really listening. Because it's not a beg. It's a fact. It's, our organizations stand on donations. Um, and that means that, if we're talking about community, then, let the community stand. It's not a slight to nobody, because, if that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. And then don't talk about that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like, walk your talk if you're out there and you're saying that, you really care about our babies. And,
yeah,
that's my thing is, there's a lot of people that's doing a lot of lip service, and, I see it. My team sees it, the kids see it, and at some
yeah,
point as adults, it'll be really cool to see us choosing to really walk
absolutely.
our talk.
Absolutely. I love that so much. So, to anybody listening, walk your talk. That's going to be the title of this show, Walk Your Talk. But let's transition a little bit into what you do, the organizations. You named two of them, and just giving yourself flowers for the next, couple of minutes, and just really like talking. I mean, we can see you're passionate, right? So, like, maybe tell us your two organizations that you brought up, and then maybe kind of tell us like your love for them, how you got started, what makes you you. What makes you the best to do this, because clearly you are the best.
Well, so Successful Connections is who I am. That's my for profit. That's where all of my books are under, my speaking engagements. I work with kids on that side as well. I do a lot of group coaching at schools, like Upward Bound programs, as well as individual coaching for young people who just want to do some self discovery. And Project Diva International has been my nonprofit that has, like I said, this is our 15th year, and that's really my heart. We work with a community cohort of girls. We're taking about 40 to 50 girls a year, and they get an intensive elite program of personal and professional development services that include, core workshops that are self love and leadership. We're learning how to literally like understand what's coming in income wise and what's going out income wise, and how are they tracking that to know, what their numbers are. And then there's emotional fitness, and then a career exploration workshop. And so those are all the girls get those, when they come every year that they're with us. And then if as a girl has been with us for a year, then they get to opt into our uh, what are we? Shoot, they hop into our clubs and our advanced academies. And so the advanced academies are an investment academy as well as a travel academy. And that's, of course, investments is because we're moving girls into a space of understanding that time is on their side right now. So, middle school girls taking $25 a month, which they get easy, and putting it into an investment, how that will look at 50, right? And walking them into adulthood with them doing that as a second nature, and not learning of it in their 20s of, how to get started in investing. And then our travel academy is really about like taking the girls national and international and showing them that they are global citizens, right? Like, there's culture everywhere. We have the American Africans, we have the British Africans, we got the Jamaican Africans, we got and showing them like we are not the minority, we are definitely the majority. And then, also giving them an opportunity to, instead of doing college tours, do career tours, so that they can see all the Black businesses that are doing extremely well, across the United States as well as abroad. And then our business club, and we have an aviation club. So I'm a student pilot flying out of one of the airports here. And then I have two girls, with one coming in July, that are also student pilots with me. We have a middle schooler who's like 12 years old, and she's flying the Cessna 150s. And then we have an 18-year-old who is moving from high school into an aviation program in college, but also still flying with us as well. And so and then we have school clubs. When I referred to today was our school clubs that we worked with. And we have 7 of those currently. And then we have a couple girls that are out of state. So we are looking to broaden our horizons nationally, because Black girls are navigating these spaces everywhere. And so it's not just tied to Minnesota. It's not just tied to the hood. Our girls are, being pushed out into suburbs with the packages, with the Section 8 packages. And so our girls are navigating different spaces, but the same systems. And so we go where the girls are, and where the girls want to actually show up for themselves in our professional development space, and get this business, what I'm saying, get this work, so that they can self-discover and really walk into adulthood, number one, as a more healthier adult, but number two, with their eye on their first stream of income. So that's why we have the girls flying. If they're asking for it, well, let's go. You don't have to wait till you're grown to figure out your streams of income. As you know, so that is really the crux of it. I have a phenomenal team that works with me to help uh, build relationships. I mentioned rigor, relevance, and relationship. And, we have all three within Project Diva, and the girls love the relationship part. They love being able to know that they have Black women that they can text, they can call, that will ride down them on their school. If mom is at work, mom can't make it, but it's an incident, we on our way. Like they know, they love knowing that we are there to advocate for them, but to also be in relationship with them as they are figuring out all these things that are coming for them throughout the day. Whether it's school day, weekday, at home day, like they love having us there. And so that's where my heart is, between aviation and my babies. Um, and it's been a joyous thing. It's been very, when you got to walk the talk, it's like, you don't want to walk it every day. You don't want to walk it every day. And some days you're like, God, why am I on this earth? Because this is not making sense.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
You could take me anytime because I think I done did my job, right? But you keep pushing for the next day.
No, I love that though, and I love that like me, you, and our other friend LR, Healing She Got Faith is very familiar with LR. We created our own community of sisterhood, and I love that we do text each other, and it could be goofy. Like y'all got a goofy text from me a couple weeks ago. It could be goofy, but it also could be like us celebrating something and us being like, "Hey, I just did this proposal, or hey, I did this," and I love that because I know personally, all three of us are really in the community and we deep in the trenches with it, and so we do walk when we talk, but we have that moment of like, listen, I don't know why we doing this. So I'm just having a moment, y'all. Like, and I love that because then when we go back to our clients, we're able to share that, like, because we're actually living it. I'm not just telling you what to do, but I'm telling you because I just had a breakdown with my girls. I just called my two sisters and let them know, like, yeah, today is the day I'm gonna quit all of this, okay? So somebody talk me out of it.
Walk me off the cliff.
Okay, please, because today, and I think it's so dope because I love meeting women. I love meeting women who are just really about their business. That has been my biggest prayer, and I think I share that with you and LR too. Like that's been my biggest prayer is like meeting women who are on this self-love journey about their business in the community, and we show up for each other, and we're not even in the same state, and I feel like I can call on y'all anytime. Like, and the fact that
we catch a flight for you. We will.
Y'all sure will. Y'all sure will. You know how many times LR have been like, let me look up a flight real quick. one day she texts me, she gonna talk so I'm looking. St. Louis is only 10 hours away. So I couldn't really drive up there.
I'm on D-Way.
I was cracking up. I was like, yes, that's what I prayed for. That is what I prayed for. And I love that for us because I love that we do have that community. I love that I can tell you what I taught my griefers. I can tell you what I taught them, and then tell you that like, oh, I really miss my mom today, or oh, like I'm just not having a good day. It's not a good business day. Like I'm supposed to get this check. They ain't send it. Like it's not a good business day.
Okay.
So I love that. And then the other thing I want to say is you need to come on to St. Louis. We need to get a chapter started in St. Louis.
Listen, my mom is in St. Louis. My baby, we just had one baby that came from there. She's actually in college here this year, but we had her for like 3 years while she stayed in St. Louis. So we rocked with St. Louis, girl. Don't play.
We rock with y'all too. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like I tell her, when y'all be writing y'all business stuff, let them know you got a building in St. Louis. Oh, you got a whole building in St. Louis. They be like, where you at, St. Louis? Where at?
Listen, received, girl.
I love it so much. Oh, this conversation was so good.
It was.
Like,
me.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out and being on the show, and thanks for being my newly found friend and big sister, and just like
Yes,
taking me in and loving me and pouring into me and listening, and also like sharing me your life and your vision and your self-love journey, because I think that's so important.
it
Like being
is.
able to
It
have that
is.
soft and safe space. I know, and I know we've talked about it privately, but like not having to be so hard all the time, like being soft, you know.
Being able to just be,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? With unconditionally, no
yeah,
conditions.
yes.
That's what I love about the three of us for sure is that we can just show up ourselves. And now, as y'all big sister, I might have to say a couple of things, but
Yeah,
it's all out of love. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
I know I've been there, so I got a little bit more wisdom than y'all too. So I
yeah.
really appreciate y'all allowing for me to share out of
Mhm.
love because I definitely want to see you all at your best, because I know
Yeah,
you're reaching. So we have a really, really good circle between the three of us. And so I'm just honored for y'all to trust me. I appreciate
yeah.
that.
I love it. I love it. So before we, get to the end of the road, I always ask people, do you have, well, one, it's two things. Let people know where they can find you, follow you, best contact, whatever you want to give, let people know that. I also will add it in the show notes as well as our flyers for the show. But then also too, do you have any last minute wisdom, quote, or any last minute anything that you want to share?
I always leave my people just remembering that and remembering meaning remembering, so putting it together. That the best relationship in the world is the one that you have with you.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. Oh,
it really is.
yeah.
And where you can find me and the squad is it's easy, projectdiva.org, all spelled correctly, projectdiva.org. Check out our website, so help us support these girls getting to where they want to go. I mean, we want to grow. Our goal is to be the number one grassroots organization that women take care of our girls. And
Yes.
so, join us on the journey of making sure that any idea or vision that these babies have that we can help them get there, whether it's
Mhm.
mentoring or financially. Let's get them there because eventually I'm gonna be ready to sit down. So I'm
Okay.
gonna need to be doing a few things, and I want to make
Okay.
sure that they are the experts in it because we know that the world pays for experts.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Yes, y'all. So, long story short, make a donation. Donate your time today. Donate your time. Stop playing with us.
Time and treasures. Time and
Listen,
treasures.
listen, yes, invest in your community and really stop being a bystander. Hop right in and let's provide this world for our future
Yeah.
kids, young people, so that we can sit down. So I personally want to thank you so much. You have been nothing but a gem. And I just love how you speak. I love your words. I love everything about you as a person. And thank you so much for being my big sister. And of course, you're welcome back on the show anytime. But I know we got some other projects going on, so I can't wait to announce those.
I do.
Can't wait. But yes, I appreciate you so much.
It's an honor, sis. You keep doing what you're doing because the world is changing because of it. So I value you, I adore you, and I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm glad this is the end of the show. All right, y'all. Faithers, I will catch you next Monday. And remember to always love you the way you love the world. Bye, guys.
Yay.
All right, so you are now about to hear our affirmation. I know, I know. Didn't we already pick an affirmation card with the icebreaker? Yes, we did. But now I started this new segment where I want to give you an affirmation to carry for the week. So from Monday to Monday, you at least have an affirmation that you are repeating to yourself every day. And honestly, maybe you don't repeat it to yourself. You could write it in your journal. I know that's what I do. I write it in my journal and I have it for the week. So whenever I'm questioning myself or whenever I just need to pick me up, I have an affirmation to look at. You can also download some affirmation apps and have the notifications come at certain times. But for Healing She Got Faith, listen, we want to give you affirmation to get through the week. So enjoy. And this week's affirmation is, as I focus on the love all around me, I attract even more love into my life. So as this week goes on, focus on the love that you get from either yourself, the people around you, your job, your dogs, your significant other, family, kids, or maybe it's just you. Focus on that love and know that you will attract even more love into your life. Know that you are worthy and deserving of it. So from now until next Monday, let's say this together. As I focus on the love all around me, I attract even more love into my life. Have a beautiful week, Faither. I love you.